Hello everyone, this is Krista and welcome to the Feminine Takeoff. Today we will be discussing how to fortify your boundaries in dating. Okay, so without further ado, I have my tea with me. Forgive me, I've been just talking a lot lately at work and so on and forth. And I think I started dating. I think it's safe to say I started going on dates. So because of that, with my busy schedule and all, because of that, I realized that I'm talking at work. I try not to talk too much on dates, but I'm just talking a lot, doing my videos, recording. So forgive me, I'm going to need a little bit of tea. All right, actually this was a very beautiful gift that I received today from a secret and I'm really excited to use it. All right, ladies, so again, today's video is going to be on how to fortify your boundaries, especially in dating. You can use this topic in friendships, in professional settings also, but it is specifically designed for dating. Point number one is actually a saying that I would like all of us to repeat. What I would like for us to repeat is, I have full sovereignty over myself, and what I allow is what I desire, and I am allowed to have the things that I desire. Without further sayings, let's get started with point number two. Point number two in how to fortify your boundaries in dating is understand and know your limits and your boundaries. With that, you cannot have boundaries and limits if you don't know what they are, right? So if you haven't taken time to journal, to come up with your source of the boundary, your reason for the boundary, why the boundary exists, your reasoning for it and everything, how can you even upkeep this boundary if it's not a concrete thing, if it's not either a mental thing or a thing you've taken time to write down to say, this is what I will not allow, this is what I will do, this is what I will not do. I really encourage you ladies to invest in a journal, a diary, or a notebook. It could be from the dollar store, could be wherever it is from Dior, wherever it is from, even if it's just on your device, either on your cell phone or on your computer or iPad. Have a device where you can, a device or pen and paper where you can write down your ideas, your thoughts, and your boundaries, okay? And I wrote a little example with this. So my example with this is, imagine going to a job interview. Imagine you go to the job interview, and when you get to the interview, they say, go down the hallway, and the interview is going to happen on the last door on your right. As you reach the end of this hallway, please do not loudly knock on the door on your left. All right? Let's say once you get there, you go down the hallway loudly, and you knock on the door on your left, and it's closed, but you try to open it when the door on your right is perfectly open and fine, but you specifically go and knock on the door on your left, which you were told not to, and you open it and say, is the interview here? Is the interview here? Do you think the person who's going to hire you is gonna say, wow, she seems like a really nice girl, she seems like a really nice woman, although she blatantly disregarded the instructions and her resume seems nice, but let's just give her the job, even though she cannot follow proper simple direction? Do you think this is what the interviewer is going to say? Think again, ladies. No. The answer is no. They're not going to say that. They're going to probably say this person can't even listen to simple instructions. Why should we hire them? Okay? Unless you have a phenomenal resume, which I doubt, because if you have a phenomenal resume, you know how to take simple directions. Okay? So this is what you ladies sound. Not you ladies, not our feminine entities, not our feminine takeoff ladies, but this is what some women sound when they say things like, oh, I really like him. He seems like a really nice guy. He did try to bypass and overcome my boundaries, but I like him and he's really nice. Even though I said this boundary, he doesn't want to listen to it, but I really like him. He's really, really nice. That's kind of how you sound like if you were to let someone bypass your instructions and still hire them anyway for the job. That alone, that act alone should have told you, I need to leave this, let this person leave my life quick, fast, and in a very hurry. Okay, so just keep that in mind, ladies. Point number 3. Point number 3 is entitlement. I mentioned this in one of my previous videos. I think the video was like how to get princess treatment and a topic on entitlement. Or if you just look up entitlement feminine takeoff, you'll be able to see it. So with entitlement, I wrote, do not give away your physical sovereignty without proof that you're protected and taken care of. Okay, I'm gonna repeat that. Do not give away your physical sovereignty, your physical body, without proof that you are taken care of and respected and provided for. Okay, I want to say intimacy is beyond laying next to someone. Okay, intimacy is beyond you touching someone. Intimacy is sharing the whole of you. Okay, your thoughts are in your body, your memories are in your body, your experiences are in your body. Okay, your thoughts are in your brain. Where is your brain? On your body, inside of your body. So you going on a date, telling someone your childhood story, your childhood trauma, anything that relates to you is you sharing your body in a sense, in a way. I know it seems very far-fetched. I know it seems very intense, right? But it is true, okay? If you go and someone says, okay, you don't have to kiss me or you don't have to go all the way, just come over my house and cook for me. You're still giving them intimacy, believe it or not. It's just not intimacy in the way you are thinking of. It's not intimacy in the way of laying in the bed with someone, okay? That should be the last resort, ladies. Don't give this away unless you're fully taken care of and provided for. And I don't mean only with money or anything tangible, but I mean this as taken care of in the eyes of God, in the eyes of religion, in the eyes of your family. If someone can't take care of you and give you commitment or give you what you require, not all of us are waiting for marriage, right? Some of us are, some of us aren't. Some of us don't believe in marriage. That's completely okay. But what is a requirement for you, and is this person meeting it before you give them intimacy? Okay, now I'm not saying refuse to get to know someone. If you like cooking, I'm not saying don't cook for somebody you trust and care for, but just be mindful that intimacy means more than the physicality of intimacy. Okay, sharing your story, your past, your experiences, your thoughts. If you're funny and you thought of a brilliant joke in your head and you shared it with this person, that is being intimate. You've shared a part of you, a piece of you to this person. They might be able to tell, if they're a comedian, they might share this joke at a comedy function and have hundreds of people laugh, and you got nothing out of it. Okay, you've just given them inspiration, and you didn't make sure you secured your safety, secured your requirements. That's not right. Okay, so Again, back to point number 3. Do not give anyone your physical sovereignty without proof that you're protected or taken care of, especially your intimacy. Okay? Intimacy doesn't have to be physical. It has to do, your kindness is an intimacy, okay? Your intellect is an intimacy. Do you know how difficult it is for men these days? I talk to men all the time, whether I'm at work, whether I'm on a date, everywhere, right? Men always say, oh, it's so hard to have an intellectual conversation with women nowadays, okay? They understand how valuable your intellect is, okay? If you have a lot of it, that is intimacy that you're giving away if you're giving it away unwarranted or with no reason. So have that boundary. Your feminine presence, all of that is encompassed in your body. So you don't have to give someone, what I mean, if you know what I mean, you don't have to give someone that to say, I've given him intimacy. I've given them intimacy. No. Your intellect, your femininity, even you having tea alone with them is an intimate moment. Okay? Don't give it away without any safety, any effort. Someone paid for your intellect, your parents, your job, the government, okay? If you get assistance, or even if you don't. If you are in the US, depending on I'm not sure where you are, but if you go to a public school, a free education, or somehow get a grant in school, someone paid for that education. Maybe it won't be you or your parents, but it was paid for by somebody. So how do you feel someone's hard-earned money, whether it's through taxes or the government allocating this money for you, or your parents working really, really hard to save this money to put you into college, or into just, even if it's high school, middle school, whatever, your education, and you take this intellect, you take this investment into your mind, into your body, and give it to somebody with no commitment, no regard, no effort, no nothing. It doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. Your body, your mind, and your intellect are going to be one of the most difficult or effort-putting things you will ever work on. Okay? Femininity is supposed to be easy, fun, and all. But when you look in the depths of it, okay, it takes a long time to cultivate elegance, femininity, self-care, getting your nails done. Even if you do it yourself, you paid somehow to get the equipment necessary to do your own nails. If you go to a salon to get them done, even worse, you're actually now paying your hard-earned money or someone's hard-earned money to get this thing done. So all of that on your body took time, effort, resources, money. And so you cannot just give that away for no reason. Okay? It will be a slap in your face to your parents, to heck, the government, everybody, for you to give those things away for free. If, hypothetically, let's say someone says, Krista, a guy, let's say a man, I'm dating someone, and they're like, Krista, I really want you to cook your mother's favorite casserole recipe for me. And I'm like, wow, I'm very good at making this recipe. It's been in my family for a very, very long time. I'm going to make this recipe. And they haven't helped me buy the ingredients. I just invited them into my home, or I go into their home and I make this thing. Guess what? Not only now am I being intimate with them, with my resources, my mind, my body, because I'm going to use my hand to cook. My hands are on my body. Not only am I overexerting myself with no effort, what I'm also doing is overexerting the resources of the mothers before me, my mother, my grandmother, my great-grandmother, whoever I learned and got the recipe passed on down from, I just wasted their energy. I've just given that intimate secret of my family, of the mothers before me, I just gave it away for free. That is a boundary to cultivate also. Okay, when we think of boundaries, sometimes we think of, okay, I'm not going to let this person talk to me this way, or I'm not going to let this person do this to me. But your body is the only thing you have sovereignty over. It's the only thing you can have boundaries over. You can have boundaries and sovereignty over your sister, your mother, your child, a person, anything else. But your body is one of the most, it's the only thing that you would honestly, truly have sovereignty over. So having boundaries around it is so important. It goes deeper than just, any superficial thing. It goes so much deeper. So when someone has your body, trust me when I say he has all of you. You can say, oh, Krista, I only text him in the morning and at night and throughout the day. My boundaries are intact. I only sleep with him at this time or whatever. But he has you. He can bypass your boundaries, okay? If he has your bodies, forget about your boundaries. You can't say, oh, okay, well, I told him not to talk to me this way, so I have my boundaries with that. No. He has access to you. He can bypass your boundaries. Okay? I've talked about entitlement in another video. I would suggest go to that video and listen to it. It goes a little bit deeper on why you should have entitlement and how entitlement can be easy. And it doesn't have to be, and how entitlement doesn't have to be a bad thing, a negative thing. If you're not entitled to someone's proven ability to protect you and provide for you, if they want to invade something as important to you or as important as your body, then what are you entitled to? For us religious people who believe in God, I had this conversation with someone the other day. They were telling me how they're really religious, so they don't believe in dating, having a rotation, right? And I'm like, I don't mean rotation as in doing things in that rotation, if you know what I mean. I mean rotation as in don't just put all your eggs into one basket. Until he has taken you off the market tangibly, date other people, get to know other people. Not you know what I mean, but date PG-13, right? So this person was telling me, oh, I was brought up in the church. I just don't think it's good to see more than one person at the same time. And so I was like, have you ever been intimate with someone? And she's like, yeah, I just have to get to know them a lot more and they have to be my boyfriend. And I thought, and I said, okay. So they don't have to legally acknowledge you just with words. They can just say, okay, you're my girlfriend. And then that's the bare minimum, right? That's the boundary that they're met. And there's nothing wrong with that, okay? We all have our standards, okay? God knows we all have our standards. So I gave her the analogy. Do you know that in the Bible, Jesus is not able to come back in human flesh. We would never see him in human flesh. If you read the Bible, read the passage. I don't want to make this an overly religious channel, so I'm not gonna get too deep into that. But Jesus is not able to come in his body form. After we crucified him, after he's died on the cross, he's not allowed to come back in his body form. Not allowed, but he's not able to. He shouldn't, or he can't. Okay? It says in the Bible, why our God, the most powerful God is powerful, okay? If the most powerful entity that we can fathom will not give his son a body back, God can remake a body like this for Jesus. Easy. Okay? But there are laws, certain things have laws. There are laws, right? Or at least according to the Bible. God will not give his son, we're all his children, but his son specifically, a body. What does that mean? That means that our human bodies are important. They are to be respected. They are to have boundaries. Okay? So if we do not have boundaries for something that God wouldn't even give his son to after it wasn't like Jesus lost his body because he went out drinking and died. It wasn't like, he sacrificed it for us, for our sins. So if God wouldn't give his son, his child, a body back, what does that say about the importance of your body? Forget that it's a temple. It is a temple, right? We should respect it. But if you go deeper, what does that say about how important the body is? Just think about that for a second. So you must have sovereignty over the boundaries of your body, the body that God gave you. It's so important. If this doesn't, it's in the Bible, okay? I will not quote you or read you any scriptures, but if you go do your research, you will know that Jesus is not allowed a body. He's not going to come back in a body ever again, okay? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. If I'm wrong, correct me, please, okay? But in the Christian Bible, Jesus is not allowed to come back in a body. Why do you think spirits can just come? We are in different dimensions. I won't go too deep into that. But why is it that other spirits on other dimensions just can't come and snatch us off, and do as they wish with us? Because there's certain rules and regulations and laws that we do not even understand and fathom. So our bodies are important. Point, period. Okay? Point number 4 is refrain from speaking. Refrain from speaking your boundaries out loud unless it is necessary. Let your boundaries speak for you through your action. People can sense your boundaries. Ever since I started doing my inner work and started reading, laying my boundaries and doing all of this, I realized that I never once had to speak my boundaries. I sometimes had to explain, sometimes people can be curious. So I was encouraged to explain why I had certain boundaries, and if I feel safe and comfortable enough, I would say it. Or if I just felt like I wanted to share, I will share. But refrain from just saying, this is my boundaries. Hello, everyone. This is my boundaries. Your boundaries should be so concise, so concrete, so unwavering that you don't even need to speak them. Someone can look at you and say, I can't do that. I cannot do that. I cannot come and do this. One of the YouTubers, who was it? I think she does like Ladies of Elegance channel. She's this woman from the UK. I forget her name. But she talks about how you cannot go to a Catholic church. You cannot go to a Catholic church and start saying like, whoa, 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 oh, Jesus, the settings that when you go, things are like, things are very well put together. The music is elegant. Everything is nice and demure. You know that it's not the time and place to be loud, to be rah, to be just disrespectful, to be out of place, okay? So as you start doing your boundary work, people would know that there are certain things that they cannot do in front of you or to you. Also know that anything you present is liable to be discussed, okay, to even be challenged. I'll give you an example. Celebrities, for example. There are so many gossip channels that talk about celebrities. Why? Because they've presented themselves into the public eye. That is the cost of fame. Okay, even my YouTube videos, I had to do so much inner work around this. I'm so glad. I've been living this lifestyle that, my femininity, all of this for a very long time. I've been talking about it for a very long time, over a decade. But God knows, God protected me. This wasn't even me. But I was really careful on how to document this. Even this is why I don't have social media. The more you present something, the more you make something, you publicize something, the more you're giving the platform for it to be discussed or challenged. Okay, so even me speaking, I know that because I'm putting this content out here, someone is gonna discuss it. Someone might even challenge it, and I have to be okay with that fact. Okay, so will your boundaries. When you speak your boundaries out loud unnecessarily, someone is liable to discuss them. Someone is liable to challenge them because you put them out there. Okay, I recently noticed this. I noticed that when you go to a fine dining restaurant, let's say you don't have a reservation, you walk up to them and you say, hello, I would like to dine here. They will say, do you have a reservation? If you say no, if they're overbooked, they will say, unfortunately, we are by appointment only, or we are by reservations only. You're not gonna walk up to them and say, hey, hello, and they're gonna say, we're by reservation only. This is our boundary. No, no, that would be crazy. Unless they have improper training, right? But a really high-end restaurant, they're gonna allow you to present yourself, and then they're gonna say, can we help you? Oh, forgive us. You must have a reservation to dine here. Or even your clothing. A long time ago, when I used to live in Miami, I one day made a reservation at this restaurant. And I happened to be jogging in that area before my reservation. So I wanted to check in just to take a look at the menu, or I happened to just stop by at this restaurant. So when I went there, they're like, hey, do you have a reservation with us? And I said, yes, I do. And they said, unfortunately, we do not welcome tennis shoes, gym attire. I was in complete workout joggers outfit. And I was like, oh, no, don't worry. My reservation is until later on. So I just, I wanted to just take a look at the menu or have a few questions. And they're like, okay. So you see, had I just walked up to them, they didn't say when I walked up, sorry, you can't wear those shoes in here. No. They first wanted to know what my intentions were. Did I have a reservation? Is my reservation now? Am I intending on walking in here looking like that? So your boundaries, refrain from yelling them across the room, yelling them across the board, yelling them out loud. People will have to come close enough to you, and then when it is necessary, then you speak it. I'll give you another example. I have a boundary. I do not, this is why I'm single, but I get it. My standards and my boundaries are very, very high. So very, very special and specific people can come to me, okay? One of my boundaries is that I do not talk to men after sundown. Unless I'm on a date, and unless they're my boss or something, it's my client or something, and we're discussing, okay, Krista, I need you to come here at this time, or I need you to meet our clients at this time for a meet and greet, or we need you to sign this at this time, whatever it is, unless it's business related, money related. I do not talk to men after sundown. It's just a boundary. I try to respect it because I travel a lot for work. Sometimes sundown can mean different things depending on the time zone, right? But of course, it's a malleable thing. I am very mindful of things that cannot be controlled, right? But in a nutshell, someone I'm dating, someone who will be my prospective partner, I don't talk to them after sundown unless they voice me that they want to be exclusive with me in some way, and there are steps that follow that, right? And also, men are not allowed in my apartment. Okay, before may have been a different case, but now for the last year or so, men aren't allowed in my home, in my apartment, unless they're fully paying the bills. Again, these are very, very high standards. So I understand that they might seem crazy. You don't have to have these crazy high standards and boundaries. I just do. It works for me. It's great. I love it here. But sometimes, let's say a lot of times I've been attracting a lot of like masculine men who will tell me things like, let me send you a car, or let me come pick you up, or so on and forth. So in a case where they come to pick me up, I'm a woman, I sometimes take some time to get ready, okay? I'll say, okay, I'll be ready at 6:30, but forgive me, maybe I'll be 5-10 minutes behind, okay, or so. If let's just say that they come early to pick me up. A lot of the men I attract, they're very punctual men, okay? If they say they're gonna come at 6:30, they're probably there at 6:15. That's just the kind of men I've been attracting. Okay, I usually am the late one in my relationship. Usually the people who I attract, they're very punctual. I don't know, but I also attract people who do business, people who have really structured lives. So if they fly, if they're pilots or if they're business owners or whatever, punctuality is very important to them in their personal lives. So it's natural for them to come early and to be punctual around me, not because it's me, but it's because it's just the standard in their normal lives, okay? So anyway, back to my boundary. Because I don't allow men in my home, if they come to pick me up, I will say, will you please wait in the lobby for me? Or will you just please wait downstairs for me? I'll be there shortly. But one day I happened to be at work, and the person I was dating came to the work, okay? It was a car show. It was a big car show, SEMA. So the person, they happened to be there. They ran into me, and I was complaining. I was complaining to them about my bag being heavy and having to walk to my car, finding parking. So they're like, okay, I will take you home. I will find a way to get your bags for you and I will get you home without you needing to go through this difficulty that you're voicing to me. So but we had dinner afterwards, right? So when they took me home, I said, forgive me, will you wait in the lobby for me? Okay, I want to just go back to my place and change really quickly, freshen up for our date. So they're like, okay. And when I finished, I got back downstairs and waited patiently, and they're like, what is this about, you not allowing men in your home? Because he was curious. And I guess it's also it's a peculiar thing, or it can be, right? Because I don't know, it seems maybe some people I used to let people in my home, not to do anything weird, but I used to, in my culture, it's very normal to welcome someone into your home. You welcome people into your home, you cook for them. Being hospitable is a very normal thing in my culture. And I'm from Mali. My family is from Africa. My parents are from Togo and Ghana, Benin. So hospitality is a very normal thing in my culture. So especially me being an African woman, a little bit even taken aback as to why I'm not allowing someone to experience the full experience of my hospitality, right? So I get that part. But when he asked, I just said, I just don't allow men in my home. I didn't want to say unless they're paying the bill, because then again, that's a whole different. I wanted to be tactful about it. So I just said, it's my boundaries, to protect myself from trauma or anything like that. I just don't allow men in my home. And they actually understood it. They actually respected it, and they were even impressed by it, okay? Most people I tell who are solid, respectful men actually love it. They love my boundaries. Because, and you know what? When I told him, when I fully explained it to him, you know what he told me? He said, I have an array of boundaries as well. So I am so glad you have yours, because then mine will make sense to you. So people who have boundaries, respect your boundaries. I read this book called Boundaries by Dr. Townsend, and there's another doctor, but it's a book called Boundaries, okay? Read it, ladies. It's really, really will change your mind on boundaries. It will help you set them. It will help you understand them. It will really help you overall. So back to point number 4. Refrain from explaining or over explaining your boundaries when it's unnecessary, because what that will do is that will just make things, it's unnecessary. Your boundaries will speak for itself. I didn't have to share with that man my dates. I didn't have to share with my date, on our first date, before he even got the opportunity to know my address, that I didn't let men in my home. At the time where it was necessary for me to share that with him, I've shared it with him, okay? Whereas if, 1 second. Alexa, stop. Alexa, stop. Back to the boundary stuff. Back to point number 4. Your boundaries are to be expressed out loud at the very moment they need to be reinforced, okay? Keep them to yourself. Just put them in your head, so it would avoid someone even needing to challenge it. Let's say you go on a date, or let's say you go, let's say you're out on a date, and it's your first time meeting this person, and you're like, but this is my boundaries, I don't take phone calls after dark, I don't let men in my house. If they are a predator, you're almost kind of like inviting them to challenge you, okay? So don't do that. Let your boundaries unfold. Be like an onion. Have layers to you. And as someone discovers something to you, it actually even adds on to your mystery. Just when they think they know who you are, you show up with another layer. They're like, wow, I'm enjoying getting to know this person, as opposed to just forcing the whole of who you are down to their throat. They might not take it well. And if they're a predator, they will really try to override that boundary. They will try to take a mile, okay? Just keep that in mind. For example, when men, I don't tell men I'm not picking up their phone call after sundown. Men usually notice, like, okay, I've called you at 7 p.m. in the summertime, or I've called you at 8 p.m. in the summertime. In the winter, it gets a little darker. So in the winter, the sun sets now at like 4:35, or maybe even earlier. So they'll notice I texted her at this time, she didn't pick up, or I called her, she didn't pick up, she didn't text me back. And over time, they will say, like, some of them will say, are you dating someone? Like, are you hiding something? Because I get that part. Or sometimes they will say, hey, I missed your call yesterday. Like, I called you, but you didn't call me back. And I will say, oh, forgive me. I don't talk to men after sundown. And then if sometimes people will say, oh, okay. Or sometimes they'll say, oh my God, will you explain that to me? What does that mean? Then I will elaborate. But if it's unnecessary for me to bring it up, it's not brought up. And another reason why I say let your boundaries unfold Don't just throw it on down to someone's throat. Don't just force it into someone. Let it slowly unravel. All you need to know is to know your boundaries in your head. You need to know them in your head or in your journal. If you know your boundaries, you'll make sure they're not crossed. Okay? But the reason why I said let it unfold, you know how in the Bible it says, no weapons formed against you shall prosper? It didn't say you have to defend yourself against the weapons. It doesn't say you have to fight against, the attack. All it's saying is that no weapons formed against you shall prosper. Why? Because you have a Calvary behind you. If you've truly done your inner work and you've set the layers and boundaries for yourself, you don't have to say, these are my boundaries, I defend them, or whatever. They will simply have natural ways of revealing themselves. There's a Calvary behind you. That Calvary is your silent boundary. It will reveal itself based on how you carry yourself, how you speak, the things you say, the way you behave, the way you dress, overall. So you don't have to do the attack. You don't have to do the counterattack. You just have to do the work, the inner work. Okay? And point number 5, last but not least, have fun, ladies. Have fun, my dear feminine entities. Dating is all about having a goal, right? You date with a purpose. You date with a goal. You date for a reason, right? But you also have fun. Imagine you meet this person of your dreams and you have all these boundaries, you have all these things, right? But if you're not having fun with it, if you're so rigid, he might be the person of your dreams, but you're going to mask the beauty of who you are by not having fun. You're going to just look so rigid. You're going to look like, it's going to be like, who hurt you that you have this armor up? Now have the silent armor, right? But have fun. Okay, your boundaries are designed to keep you safe, for you to have fun. So have fun. Don't just be rigid with them. Would you want this amazing man of your dreams to meet you and you're not having fun with him? No. So have fun. Have your boundaries, but have fun. Anyway, that would be all for today. Forgive me if I rambled on a little bit. I wouldn't be me if I didn't ramble just a little bit. Thank you all for watching my video. I really appreciate all the views, all the comments. If you resonated with this video, please give me a like or thumbs up and comment on it. And actually, let me know in the comments, what boundaries do you have that you think you kind of chuckle at a little bit? Or what boundaries do you have in general? Share them with me. I'm excited to see them and read about them. Thank you all, feminine ladies, for watching my video. I wish you all a very wonderful day, evening, year, month, and life. Ciao. Mwah.